Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Didn't really have a choice. I just forced these videos upon you. And here we are. So, last season on blah blah blah, we were getting into the new cutting style. Well, here we are. This is the field, partly raked. Well, why are you leaving all these little bits here, Piper Duck? Well, we just got word. You look out there. Another thunderstorm came out of nowhere to be here at supper time. Yep. The rake decided to drop a pin out of that new piece that I built. There's a cotter pin that goes in there to lock it in. For whatever reason, that pin decided to jump out last night, and so it's sitting dead in the water over there. I do not have time to fix it. I don't have time to fix it, then run it, and then come back and bale. These bales are incredible quality. You can tell just by the color of them. So I just made, what did I just make? I just made 60 something bales off of this 20 acres. It's around about 20 acres. So yeah, there's probably still another bale and a half there. So what I did was, took the width of the baler and left the one spot. So when the rake is back up and running, I'll just knock these together and come back and get it. But at least this way, we'll get the majority of it. It's about 90%, 85-90% of the swath. We'll get it up and into a bale as number one alfalfa, because it is premium quality stuff. So this is just done, so I'm about to boogie over to the other fields and go and get the headlands up and see if some of that center stuff is ready to go. Because I would kind of like to try and get as much baled as possible if they are talking rain. And yes, everywhere else is in an absolute drought except here. Part of last week's video that got, I don't know, somehow it did not record at the end of the video. That's why there was no outro, no tatty bye. I was cutting roadsides and I got the swather stuck in the ditch. Liam had to come rescue his old man. The whole, just at long grass, could not see it. Next thing I know, one tire turns wet, spins out, and as everyone knows, swathers get stuck very easily, and it just sank. So yeah, in the long grass, just absolutely soaked, water everywhere. And Mrs. Piper Duck was talking to our grader driver, and he was saying he cannot believe he's driving around the whole area grading and it's dry. He says, but he comes over to this area and he says there's water everywhere. What is going on? Yeah, ask my hayfield. Yeah, there you go. There's how to tell the difference between number one quality and about number three quality. But to look at the cup as half full, I have bales. Even if they're poor quality, it's still something to feed to my cows. Whereas there's certain people, they don't have bales. You can't feed nothing to feed to cows. So, oh yeah, here's ridiculous. You all saw last week, we let them into the new paddock. Look at that. They're on the bald prairie. What the heck? Oh, okay, let's go get baling. So we've actually found out on these bigger swaths, if you straddle it perfectly, which crimps down the edges, you actually pick up 99% of the swath and pulls it in from the edge. As long as you're traveling the same direction as the swather did. Look at those bales. Perfect shape. Back at her. So last year, the headlands in this field did 130 bales off of 15 acres. We did 90 so far off the headlands. So yeah, last year was a record breaker. I think we got close to 7 bales to the acre. That was insane. But then again, that was like year 2 of a new stand and after a year of drought, so it took off. Yeah, this is still going to do exceptionally great. And yeah, if you look at those bales, the premium, like they're absolutely perfect. So, like I said, big game changer on getting it set right. Now I have moved the door in one click, because as you can see, I was actually getting the whole swath in one pass, because the Mega Wide Plus on those John Deeres has a big thick finger on the outside to pull in. But when you get to the thinner parts, I don't know if you can make that out up here, it's leaving a little bit. So I brought the door in one click to hit the panels underneath the swath are a little harder, so still nice and wide. All I needed was about 6 inches on either side would be perfect, so we'll see how we do. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to talk to you about our Lord and Savior, the internal combustion engine. Yeah, no, that didn't go over right. Anyway, so I thought this would be a good point in the field to show everybody what it is that we are trying to do. This is the kind of hay that I typically want most of. This is the kind of stuff that the cows really do well off of, because there's enough alfalfa and clover in there. And then there's enough Timothy, meadow brome. There's all the different, like you can see the shorter varieties. Let me see if I can do this. So you can see some of the more wire grasses, some of the shorter blade grasses, some of the really vigorous tuft style grasses are in there. So this area of the field, we actually were scared the first year, so this is the 3rd year. This is the last field, this is the last stuff I think my brother ever sowed before he retired. So, and the ironic part is, this stuff is what that whole quarter over there was sown down to. Now you all might be going, but that's a quarter of alfalfa. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be. We got this stuff for up there, and I still have some of the bags left over, and I can show you at a later date when we go to start doing our next part of the projects what the blend actually looks like, because this is what it was supposed to be. But because 2 years ago when we sowed that, see, this was sown 4 years ago. So 3 years ago, I mean, when we sowed that field over there, we had that terrible drought. So the only thing we can think of is the alfalfa rooted down, the grass germinated, and the grass sat on the surface and died, whilst the alfalfa rooted down. Now we probably could go back over the whole field and just sow grasses into it, but at this point I'd far rather just let that alfalfa run its course over the next 5 years, and then we will tear that field up, either rotate it out or just tear it up and put it back down to one of these blends. Now this field here is pure silage, and that was done on purpose, because this field here is where we are going to be doing our own silage eventually. That's why we bought our own chopper, and we will be coming up with a game plan to build an actual pit with walls. That is the plan, because we got a lot of wastage on the sides, as you will have noticed from our pit or pile that we have currently. Anyway, so here's what happens when you're dealing with this. And those wheels are set out wide. You can tell by the back wheels of the tractor. So it's just managing to pull in most of the swath. Yeah, this doesn't look great when you got all these little farts everywhere. But you end up with bales like this. So these bales will stack nice. That's the one part about them. See how the edges are curled up? Yeah. Just don't pay attention to that. Every so often it farts out a crap bale. But yeah, we're gonna end up with all these little tufts everywhere. But that's just because the header was set as wide as it could go. Now the south field I narrowed up a little bit, so here's hoping that's going to make the difference. I have a sneaking suspicion. Yep. That's what happens with net wrap. Crap there. That causes the cutter to not snack off as good. Yeah, see I've got a belt tearing. Now that's awesome. Always when the weather's a bit iffy. Ball sacks. And all those that say you can't grow corn in this far north, there you go. This is our old field that we used to own called the Ross J. That corn's got to be 6 feet tall in some places. And considering it's almost the middle of July, that's pretty dang good. Like I would say that's elephant's eye by the middle of July. Yeah, this strip here is where a lot of those big rain dumps came through. Also some hail, but I think the hail was sort of more localized partway over. But there's some cracking good looking crops. Got some nice canola. Got some nice, I think that's bearded wheat. The old quarter we used to rent from one of our neighbors, that's canola as well. There's a lot of canola. But I've heard tell of this phenomenal oat crop that was planted just here. Just an outstanding looking field of crazy looking. Yeah, I'm happy with it. It's coming on. And considering there's no chemicals or anything, it's amazing how little weed competition. There's a few little thistles, fair bit of like wild mustard, but for the most part, yeah, she's good. She's good. She's gonna have to put up a couple extra bins. It's gonna be a bin burster, boys. Huh. What pillock put a swather into a slough, cutting roadsides? Imagine doing that. What kind of clown does that? Baler's in the yard. Yeah, that's cutting her as close as I want it to go. Even though I should be baling right now, I just know this is going to stop me. And in a fantastic way. As you all know, when these break, they like to wrap themselves around one of the rollers and make an absolute dog's ear of the rest of the belt. So it's one of those where, you know, get her done. Get her done right. So, no net wrap. There's a lot of chaff building up, but then that's because we're baling in the middle of the day. But let's get her done. So this is how I do it, and it saves a whole lot of time. And that's all I lose out of the belt, and that's what I gain with the lacing. So it's kind of cool. You maybe lose a 1/4 inch. So yeah, I just sort of run around until I get enough gap in here, and then yeah, I just find the closest thing that's waist high. Pallet always works really good. I keep one sitting here, and yeah, you just set her out. You can try skiving the belts to get the tread off. I know a lot of people don't even bother with that. I do. But I've actually found the quickest way, because skiving with the cordless grinder, all it ends up doing is burning your arm with molten rubber. I find it's easier just with the blade. Just do it carefully and don't slice yourself up like Piper Doug is wont to do. Yeah. So yeah, the other one's done. This one's getting done. Then I will throw, because I work with the alligator riveter. I just ordered a whole bunch of new ones because I just found out I'm down to my last box. All going well. I have nothing really emergency on these belts. These belts are down to their last. This might be their last season. I don't know, because as you can tell, those are John Deere laces. I used to get laces done. Yeah, see, like up there. I used to get laces done at Redferns, and they have those wire ones. I know some people don't mind them. I had terrible luck with those things. They kept tearing out. They were just a problem. But since I got these, I've never had these fail if they're done right, like there. If they're done right, and make sure to replace these rods every 2 years. Make sure. And here's a handy tip for you. I don't know where the bucket is. Is the bucket over there? Tell me, people. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed them there. There's some little bits of high tensile wire. High tensile wire is a great stand-in for these rods if you don't have them. Especially if you can get, not the number 9 wire, but the bigger, not that cheap Chinesium electric wire high tensile, the other stuff. Because it's almost this diameter. And yeah, all you do is you put the little right angle kick on the end of it, fire it in there, put the right angle kick, and it will last just as long as these do. Because believe you me, I've had to dig worn out ones of these out of here, and it's not fun. So 2 seasons, replace them. Most of these have all been replaced. So there you go, handy tip. Yeah, you can't write this stuff, people. You can't write it out. So from what we can gather, the pin for there to there is gone. It is missing completely, to the point where this was just lying in there. So you can see where the tractor's been sitting in the casting, just driving around, rubbing on that. And then for whatever reason, when he was backing up from this bale, she tore right out. So that's going to be fun. I wonder how badly the yoke on the differential is jiggered, but yeah, we'll call insurance tomorrow and see what they say. Man, if there ever was a way to show how good a quality this stuff is. One of the bales didn't wrap. Look at the color. And It's dry. Almost to the point where it's almost like 1% too dry. But yeah, look at that. Woo! Let's get on! Oh, beautiful hay. What's that, you say? Yeah, it's raining again. Finally making premium #1 hay. And it's raining. Wasn't in the forecast from the weather guessers. Well, that was a wee rain last night. Had the sun out, get the wind going, get back baling. It was good while it lasted. Yeah. It's funny, I was just looking at this. The swath makes the bales look tiny. Like you'd think they were 4x4 foot bales instead of 5x6 foot bales. Jeepers! Well, got her done. So this was the field that was in oats last year. So yeah, we battled. There was a shower last night. There was a shower earlier today. And I just was cleaning up some of the outside row where I'd left some strips because it was so wide. So I just got the last of that stuff baled up there, so. Oh gosh. Whew. So we did just shy of 4.5 bales to the acre out of this field. Now this is a brand new stand. Last year was the oats, the alfalfa was underneath it, and it's just pure alfalfa. So yeah, the alfalfa was not cut last year, so this is the first cutting of this alfalfa, so that's a brand new stand. So no wonder it's great numbers. And yes, there was, I think, somewhere around 4 or 5 bales to the acre of the oats, but then again, there's a lot of straw and oats. So yeah, it's kind of nice. These bales though, they are heavy, dry and heavy. I would say they're probably north of 1,800, if not 2,000 pound bales. And they're dry. So there's a few that did not wrap properly. There's something going on with this baler that I might address. Hopefully once I get the south field done and we're caught up with the cutting before we get the next field cut, I'm going to be doing an improvement to the baler. I've never seen anybody do this. I have a sneaking suspicion the reason that we have a lot of wrapping of net wrap on the back roller is on these edge wrap balers. They have a little corkscrew thing on either end of the back roller that's supposed to pull the net wrap out to wrap the edges of the bales. Well, the net wrap's getting caught on it and it's pulling the net wrap off. So I'm going to either try and cut that piece off. I don't know whether it's a separate piece or it's casted right onto the roller, or I'm just going to grind it down because I'm sick and tired of dealing with this. Because it's every so often it'll pull a bit off, and the next thing it's built up the edge of the roller. It won't cut off the net wrap properly, and then it will do a mistie like that one over there. So there's about 10 bales between the first field, this field, and then the other field that's not done yet. The headlands are done. There's about 10 bales that I got to go back over with the loader tractor and roll the bale out. So sick and tired of that nonsense. But anyway, I'm gonna go and have a bath. I'm done. Woo! Golly gosh. This is the part I hate. Oh my gosh. That's the regrowth on the stuff that we cut at the first of haying season 23. That's it, flowering, starting to flower again. Wow. Now it's not crazily tall, but it's tall enough. Not even done the first cut, and the second cut's coming on. Jeepers! Oh, the fun and games of a net wrap baler. By the way, the problem I've found that I'm having, apart from that, with the way that we're picking up these wide swaths, and it's gathering so much into the end of the bales, is these are so hot they will burn your skin. They will actually burn. That's why I have to wear my sleeves when I'm in here, because it's quite, ow, yeah. I've only done about 3 or 4 bales and roadside light grass, and they're already super hot, and it's nothing to do with the bearings. Yeah. So you do get net wrap on these, but I am certain it's these stupid castings on the end here. It's them that's causing the bulk of the problem, so I'm going to cut these off because I don't use edge wrap. But the majority of the net wrap gathers on the ends. Once in a while you'll get this, but actually quite often that comes from here. Stuff will get pulled off here and then it'll just work its way along the rollers. And quite often what ends up happening, as you can see up there, net wrap will get pulled off and then it will follow the bale up and end up here. So I am going to test that theory as soon as we're done first cut. If we're ever done first cut, because we might roll into second cut straight away. I'm going to cut these off and then we'll see. My hypothesis, I believe I'll be right. You know, riddle me this, riddle me that. What comes out of a baler and you unroll it and you put it back into the baler, and it's only ever 90% of what it was to begin with. I can never figure that out. It's the same bale, but you put it back through the baler, and it's only like 3/4 or 90% or whatever of what it was to begin with, and there's not that much laying on the ground when you're done. Anyway, well, we're getting into her. So they're calling for rain on Tuesday. Today's Sunday. So when you're seeing this video, I will know whether it rained or not. I really hope it doesn't. I know a lot of people do, but I really don't want it. Reason being is, the field is ready, except for 10% of the field. So down in the hollow, in the low spots where it was like rank, stank, heavy, it's still a bit green on the underside. It's like right on the limit. But because these bales are so heavy and so dense, they won't breathe very well, and I found that out already. Even the bales that I'm unrolling, you saw me earlier in the video, they are so hard to unroll. I stopped unrolling them. I'm just giving them to the cows because they are so well knit together. I can't get them undone with the loader, and to walk them out by hand on the heavier areas, not working. No thank you. So, baler's working good. You might notice a difference. Yeah, this is Mrs. Piper Doug's baler. Up and running. Yeah, this is what we're doing.
Oh, why is that, Piper Doug?
Well, that's a good question, and you have a really weird voice too. If you look away in the distance there, you'll see a bit of a hill. Well, I am not entirely sure because this is the first time that my baler did this. But the belt that I just put the new splice in because it had a tear, walked. Yep, that belt there on my baler, for some reason, walked over on top of this one. And it looks like it tore the lacing off, wrapped around, and then tore again. So I got it wound out, but I'm out of splices. I have enough splice to do the one fix, but not two fixes. And at this point, the belts on the other baler are getting to the point where they're pretty well toast. These ones aren't far behind it, really. But we can only replace one set of belts in a year, because they're rather expensive. They're about $3,500. Yeah. So, figured we'd get this one going. Shocker, though. Went to hook up the baler, I hadn't even noticed. That's a 540 shaft. I didn't know these balers came with 540. I thought they were all 1,000. Why am I saying 540? Weird. 540. So yeah, I had to go and change the drive shaft on the tractor, and it was not cooperating. So, we're gonna get after. And the nice thing is, this one actually works a lot better than my baler because my baler has an issue in the plug, whereas this plug is better. It's not perfect because the locking mechanism doesn't work, so I had to tape it all together, but the pins all work. So this actually sets and closes the tailgate and gives me the warning if it didn't wrap properly. Nice! The only problem with this one is I don't have the spacers because I'm not using edge wrap. So you can see how that one... What's going on here? You can see how that one did not wrap on this edge, but it's really nice over there because the roller net wrap is not the full width, so it walked over to one side. It's fine, it'll do for now, but I gotta come up with a better plan because that's kind of not pretty and we're gonna be selling these bales, so. Okay, I'm gonna get on, I'm gonna bale up what we can. I'm just gonna bale up this hilltop for the most part, and then the other hilltop, and then if we have time, before the rain, if the rain comes, we'll come back and get other stuff. So, let's get on. Well, we're back at her. So, yeah, replace the O-ring. Check my baling Bible from John Deere, the big book. Big bad book. So I reset the pressure to the factory setting, and there you go. Right up the middle. Where it's supposed to be. And I'm back to setting a bale down at the same intervals as before. So, yeah, and this baler hardly misses a beat. That's the only fugly bale it's done so far. For whatever reason, it missed the net wrap on one edge. But from what I can tell, the rest are just dandy. They're pretty bales. Some good green in there, like the good kind of green. So yeah, it's a very calm, very sunny day. A little bit of smoke, but perfect day to get this field knocked out. They are definitely calling for rain tomorrow and definitely calling for rain the next day. And supposedly rain for 6 days straight, off and on. But we'll see. So yeah, if we can get all these this baling done, I'm not bothering getting into any more cutting. And then we can start hauling these bales in. We've got to reorganize the bale yard, so that'll be in the next video. So, yeah. And then we're going to get the approach to the bale yard ready for semi-trailers. That way when we're selling bales and there's trucks coming to pick up bales, then they have an easier time getting into the yard. So that'll be to do. So yeah, get on. Oh yeah, and I'll address the obvious. Piper Doug, why are you driving so slow? Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I could be bombing along here because it's not crazy heavy. We're currently approaching 3 bales to the acre, and we still got a wee bit to go. There's this, and then there's a couple other spots still to do. The reason why I'm going so slow is, let's unplug my phone here, is because of that. It's because I have to go this speed to pull the edges in. Now, the one thing that you'll notice looking up ahead is if you think edge of swath to edge of swath in the next row, it looks about 50-50. So yeah, I tightened up the doors on the disc vine cutting this field, and I think I got the swaths to about 8.5 feet wide, sometimes 9 if it's particularly big. So it's helping getting all the swath into the baler, but it's still a stretch considering the pickup on the baler is, well, 6 feet wide. So yeah, trying to pull in 8 feet with a 6-foot pickup, it's pretty hard. It says hard. That's her done. Supposed to rain tomorrow, but if you look at the sky, I swear she's moving in now. I was hoping to get a bit of a sunset for the final picture. And the mosquitoes have moved in, so that's awesome. So yeah, feeling pretty blessed when you look at the bales out there. Did pretty good. So there is a field over here, back there. There's still a field there to cut, but that's one of the fields we only cut once. So yeah, we'll do that after the rain has passed. So hope you enjoyed the video. And I'm actually losing a whole lot of blood right now because the mosquitoes are actually terrible. I've never seen them this bad. Wow. Anyway, so yeah, hope you join next week, and we'll be up to something else. So see you later. Teddy bye.